that helps highlight local initiatives in Greenville, South Carolina, and as well as on a national stage in the recovery communities. Here you will hear a wider range of topics surrounding addiction, recovery, and amazing advocates helping to make a difference in the recovery space. If you or a loved one are struggling with substance use disorder, please contact us today by calling 864-787-3798 or by visiting www.freedomrecoverycenterofgreenville.org. Now let's get ready to hear another amazing podcast with your host, Mike Todd.
All right, another Recovery Share, Recovery First podcast. This is Mike Todd. Hey, tune in and check us out on Thursday nights at 7:05. We have some really, really cool people on, folks that are just in recovery and doing like really wonderful things in the community. That's what we want to do with this podcast. We want to showcase people. You know, they're not doing it to be showcased, but we just want to tell them that we love them and we appreciate them and come on the show and tell us what they're doing. And it's been fantastic. We've had some great people. I'm sitting here writing, good grief, I'm deep into another first step, again. And man, this workbook, man, the questions are redundant and kind of over and over again, but I guess, I need that in my life. And each question, my sponsor suggests that I write the question down, and that always helps because it gives me time to ponder and kind of learn from it. And I was at a meeting last night, and of course, it was a gratitude meeting. And I sat there and listened to everybody, and I got in the car and I started thinking, well, what am I really grateful for? And I think what I'm really grateful for is that I have found a solution. I found something that works in my life. A lot of people were talking about that they had found that peace that they've always looked for. And I guess that's something that I've found in recovery is that peace. I get it. Some days are better than others. Some days it's not real peaceful. When my wife's not happy or, we rescue dogs. I have a recovery program. There's a lot that can go wrong, with 15, 20 guys in a program and then, 8 dogs or whatever I think it is we have now. Yeah, my life is full. But I found a solution. Prior to coming in recovery, I was looking for that solution. I was looking for something. We talk about that hole inside of us, that God hole inside of us that only God can feel. And I found that peace. I looked for it for many years in chemicals. For a chemical solution, and what I was looking for was just a way not to hurt, a way to maybe forget about the bad things that happened in my childhood, the pain that I felt, the way that I felt about myself, this deep hatred that I had for myself prior to coming in recovery, and listen, the chemicals worked for a while, but then they stopped working. And that brought on a whole new set of problems, jails and lost license and loneliness because people didn't want to be around me and it wasn't that they didn't love me. Listen, family tried to help me. My mother, oh my gosh, she went to the ends of the earth to try to help me, but it just got to a point, where it's like, hey, we've done all we can, and so I want it not to be so lonely. And I was looking for solutions. I was looking for something, and I realized that chemicals weren't working, right? So I looked for a solution to the chemicals not working, and I'm really grateful that I found it. I found it in my recovery, in my pathway. I found it. I found it in these meetings and sitting and listening to people and listening to experience, strength, and hope. And I found it for me in the steps. Big solution for me. I found it in sponsorship, and I found it listening to others and being teachable. And it is so true that when I become humble and teachable, the right people come and show up. I mean, so many times God has sent me just the perfect people to teach me in different circumstances. So yeah. I'm grateful for the solution. I think prior to coming to recovery, I thought I was hopelessly immoral, because we're taught that by society, that we're just a moral failure, right? I'm so grateful that I had a group of people that in a book that I read that was written by people, by addicts, for addicts. And I relate it to every word. And I'm so grateful that people taught me about this being a disease. And I was able to approach it from that aspect. And that's what's worked in my life. I had never heard that before. I remember the first time I heard that from my first sponsor, Bill O. He told me that, he told me about the disease aspect of this. I just thought I was terminally mentally ill and terminally immoral. I just couldn't do anything right. Didn't know how to do life. And these things teach me. This dadgone book I'm sitting here writing in. I mean, as much as I don't like it, I do know that it provides so much insight. I'm grateful for solutions and insight today for my pathway to recovery. And maybe you're looking for yours and you don't relate to this at all, and that's okay. That's fine. But this is just my walk. This is my journey. And this is what works for me. These meetings and writing in this step book and praying and meditation and listening to God. I was taught that praying was talking to God. I did that this morning, and I'm getting ready to listen to God through meditation. And so I'm grateful for the solution. I hope if you're struggling that you find your solution. Just try something. Just try. Find somebody that will walk with you and just guide you and teach you, whether it's a sponsor, a recovery coach, or mentor at church, whatever it may be. When I got honest about the fact of how I felt and where I was, I started to get better, and I continue to get honest. And that's part of my solution today. So gratitude, grateful for the solution. Recovery First podcast. Again, check us out, 7:05 Thursdays. We have some really fantastic people on there and really inspiring people. So check us out. Signing off. Thanks everybody for listening.
So 30 years ago, when I first came into recovery, we didn't have recovery housing. If someone was seeking recovery and maybe coming to meetings and didn't have anywhere to live, we'd basically try to help them find somewhere to live. And that's how it all started. We all started basically living together and keeping each other accountable in recovery. Now, as the years have gone through, it's basically turned into an industry. And with that industry, there comes a lot of challenges. There's quite a bit of exploitation. You're dealing with a very, very vulnerable population. So that's the reason that we started the South Carolina Recovery Housing Association, to help providers, to help other recovery housing operators, to help mentor them, to advocate for them. And one of the things that we did right off the bat was we started getting naloxone into all recovery housing in South Carolina. We were very fortunate to get a grant from the Clinton Foundation and some help from the Recovery Advocacy Project and Challenges Inc. and Favor Greenville, and all of them combined have helped the South Carolina Recovery Housing Association to begin getting naloxone into all recovery housing in South Carolina and to help train their residents on the use of naloxone. We believe that is the first standard that we need to accomplish in South Carolina. Recovery housing operators are a very valuable resource to those suffering from substance use disorder in South Carolina, and we want to advocate for them, train them, mentor, and just work with them with whatever needs that they may have. If you want to get in touch with us, it's screcoveryhousing.org.